Welcome to Create, Build, Manage, the Entrepreneur's Toolbox.
Welcome to Create, Build, Manage on BizTV. I'm Kelli Phillips. Today we're joined by Derrick Barker, who used his experiences in real estate and investing and founded a company that provides flexible financing for professional real estate investors. Stick around, we'll be right back with more Create, Build, Manage only on BizTV. Today's guest began his real estate journey from his Harvard dorm room and later amassed a 4,700 unit portfolio of upwards worth $400 million. Please welcome Derrick Barker. And Derrick, if you would, tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Yeah, sure. So I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, even before I really knew what entrepreneurism was. Starting, businesses and, grade school. My first super successful business I started when I was a freshman at Harvard. But then I've been investing in the real estate space since after the financial crisis. I was very interested in going to Wall Street and ended up working as a bond trader at Goldman Sachs for a while. But, the neighborhood I'm from was pretty hard hit by the downturn. So I started buying first single family, then multifamily apartments in the old neighborhood that I lived in, eventually leaving Goldman Sachs after I had amassed about 500 units and really growing from there, looking to create value and create impact at scale.
What made you decide real estate investments? Yes, real estate typically goes up, but it would seem like there would be some challenges and obstacles along the way.
There were, and there were more than I expected in the beginning, definitely. When at the time, it was 2009, me and a couple of my buddies, we were really into finance and looking at what was going on Wall Street. And we figured, hey, there's this huge real estate crash. Property prices can't go down that much more. So we should get in now. We have a long career ahead of us. What we didn't know is that prices would continue to go down until 2012, really, in the markets that we were in. That's a place where you can get in early in your career at a small bite size and use leverage to continue to build and grow and learn from your mistakes and compound your returns over a long period of time. And that's what I was looking to do.
How do you do that, though? Because it seems like you're constantly putting money in to keep up with the real estate. Are you not?
Very true, very true. And it changes over your career. Early on, we were bringing in a lot of investors, both limited partner investors, but also we'd be the general partner. So we'd be managing the day-to-day operations. And we'd also bring in investors or borrow money to invest as a GP. And then we had to sell a lot of our properties quickly. So we buy a property, add value. Typically, we were gut rehabbing apartment complexes that we bought in a distressed state. And then we go and get them up and sell them. And so we generate a lot of value and we monetize that value by selling. Over time, as we got more cash and capital, we were able to buy, hold longer term, refinance when we needed to get liquidity. But even still, we have to use investor capital to continue to grow.
Tell me about the business that you established in doing this. It's called Nectar.
It is called Nectar. So I ran a real estate portfolio for a long time. And in the 2020 timeframe, really even before that, it was difficult for us to buy properties. Property prices had gone up a lot. We are very strict cash flow investors, and we just weren't having success buying in the market. So we looked to sell, and we started Nectar to provide cash flow based financing. So we do cash flow underwriting. We're not looking at capital appreciation of properties, and we provide liquidity to people who are long-term owners and long-term holders of commercial real estate properties that are low leverage and cash flowing. And we settled on that business model because we always owned a lot of properties. But if you run a real estate business, you have illiquid assets. And sometimes you just need liquidity to buy a new property or finish a big renovation or just any kind of capital need. And we start Nectar to provide liquidity to prudent, low leverage, stabilized commercial real estate owners.
So it sounds like you established this business because you saw firsthand what was needed, and now you are in turn helping other people.
100%. We saw a gap in the market that we would have loved to have. It would have made our business a lot stronger. Nobody was filling this gap. And so we created Nectar and created a financial product to fill this gap. And also to provide value to our investors who didn't want to take a lot of capital appreciation risk at the top of the market. And they wanted consistent cash flow and distributions. And that's what Nectar provides. Consistent day in and day out, every month distributions based off of cash flow.
So are you seeing more and more people going into the same business model that you've now established since there was such a gap?
Not as much. The market is a very, very big market. And the people that are filling this gap are small relative to the market. So there's still a huge need, and there's a lot of runway for us to continue to grow and create additional solutions, to this problem, especially right now in a time where traditional lenders, banks and the like, are pulling back. So there are a lot of people who have good properties. They have stabilized and cash flowing properties, but there's a scarcity of capital in the market. And now is a great time to be providing liquidity to cream of the crop borrowers, so they can continue and play offense at a time in the market where there are a lot of people having to play defense.
So what's Nectar's main mission, if you could sum it up in a sentence or two?
Yeah. To provide liquidity solutions to commercial real estate owners with stabilized properties. And we do this by providing subordinate financing that allows them to buy and renovate their portfolio.
Can you tell us some of the successes that you've seen with your business?
Sure. We've contributed to the development of over 1,200 units in one transaction that we did earlier this summer. It was a sponsor who's been in the business for 30 years. It was a family business he had a large portfolio of multifamily assets mostly, and he had a construction project that was well over budget. Prices skyrocketed throughout the pandemic. He was over budget from what he expected, but he had a core portfolio of stabilized properties, but couldn't get the financing to keep the contractors going and get these new developments built. We were able to come in, look at his existing stabilized portfolio, and provide fast liquidity so that he can keep contractors going, keep things moving, and get several new units online.
Have you ever had to turn down somebody that comes in and they've got a large portfolio and they need your help with the liquidity, but for some reason it just doesn't compute in your brain?
Yes, we turn down more people than we accept, probably, because people have lots of problems. Sometimes they might have partner disputes, or we only work with people who pay their bills. So a lot of times you have sponsors who have NSFs, or they have problems, making payments to contractors, and have a history of that. And that's just something that, even if you have a large, strong portfolio, we're looking at people who have a track record of paying bills, who have clean record in terms of, getting along with their partners and not having disputes and paying their lenders. So yes, we've turned down a lot. And there are a lot of people who have floating rate debt where they had stabilized properties, but now their interest rate doubled. And so they're in trouble and they're not able to pay us out of cash flow, and they need rates to go down or prices to go up in order for their business plan to work. And that just doesn't work for our model. So we turned a lot of those people down.
Derrick, if you will, stick around. We've got more questions for you. We'll be right back after this. And we are back talking with Derrick Barker and his business, Nectar. And Derrick, I've got to ask, running a business is difficult. What are some important lessons that you've learned in now owning and running a business, Nectar?
That's a great. So I've been running businesses really my first really successful, profitable business when I was 18. So I've been running business for a long time. I'd say, and have lots of lessons. One, things take longer and cost more than you expect. Period. So like whatever you're expecting, double the time frame and cost, and be able to survive. Like a lot of winning in business is just being able to survive long enough to get to the profits. Make sure that you're solving the problem that customers will pay you for, that they actually want and they can pay you for. Those are two big lessons, and shoot for a big outcome. Running a small business and running a larger business, they're both hard. It's not hard. It's not easier to do something smaller. So sometimes it's better to just like aim high, and don't wait till all the lights are green. Get the first couple green lights and then figure it out on the way. And make sure that you're prepared for it to just take longer and for it to take harder work than you expect.
Do you have any advice for future business owners on even how to get started? Because some of them may be scratching their head going, I really want to do this, but what's my first step?
The first step is talk to your customers, get something out, like find a gap in the market, an opportunity in the market, figure out how do you have a product that you can sell? Like how do you, even if you don't 100% have it, so for us, we wanted to be able to show investors that we can provide these great deals in the South, even though we were in the Northeast. So even before we secured a deal, we showed these are the example deals that we can go out and get. And we, took it to the market. It showed, hey, is this something you buy, and get commitments. So I say, just secure the first step, get your first little win, and then get the next win and get the next one. So have big dreams for the long term, break it down into little steps, and just do the first step and then do the second.
So just put one foot in front of the other and go slow. You don't have to have it all at once, because 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen all at once. You keep referring to Nectar and we. Are there other partners in this with you?
I have a lot of partners. My co-founder is Brittany, my wife. She was also a co-founder and partner in a good chunk of my real estate portfolio. And she actually runs the business. We also have several employees. We have several investors. So it's a bunch of us. I say another thing, pick your partners wisely. There's nothing better than having great partners. And there's nothing worse than having bad partners. And that's been a blessing to have a great partner.
A lot of people can't work with their spouse. I mean, you live with them and you spend, all of your other time with them. So you're saying basically y'all are together 24/7. How does that work?
We complement each other well. Yeah, I know. My strengths and her strengths are different. It's very clear when something happens, like whether this is something Brittany's going to take care of or Derrick. Years of counseling also helps. But no, you have some partnerships just work, and it works. Business can be an obsession that you end up spending an inordinate amount of time. And having a partner who you can share that with, even at 11:30 at night, after you get the kids to bed, is something that can be beneficial. And we're pretty good at working together.
How has the housing shortage impacted your business?
The housing shortage is something that is like a defining characteristic of the market for our generation. A lot of it is due to local policy, but also just the supply chain of real estate. You need labor, you need materials, you need land, and you need capital in order for housing to happen, or real estate in general. And all these supply chains are broken in some way. The supply chain for capital has all kinds of inefficiencies, and that has created room for our business. So the shortage of housing is great for us because it allows us to go and help provide supply by, because you add additional capital into a market, then you can create more supply in a market that has a lot of demand. So it gives us a lot of tailwinds that make it easier. And in a business, you want to have something that's easy because there's going to be a lot of stuff that's hard.
What are some other challenges out there that your business has faced or are facing currently?
I mean, with new technology, there are new ways for people to try to trick you or defraud you or go after you. So there's always just the cybersecurity technology part of it. The capital markets are dynamic, and you always have to be nimble. And that's always a challenge. It's been a benefit to us because we've been able to be nimble. However, it's a challenge that we face along with the competitors in the market. Say those are some, and then just people. People are always a challenge and an opportunity. And getting good people and keeping good people focused and aligned and focused around the same goal, and dealing with the things that come in life with having a team that you rely on, and having customers that you rely on, and so just learning how to really deal with people and the issues that they bring.
How do you deal with those employees who they're not going to take care of a business like a business owner does and have the same passion? So how do you translate that to them to get the most out of their performance every day?
I think getting buy-in, making it very clear, this is what our vision is. This is where the company is going. This is your role. And we are all going to benefit and be aligned around this goal. So we like to make sure that everybody is, on the same page, roaring in the same direction, and providing clarity on where we're going, clarity on what we expect from employees, and clarity on the compensation and the rewards for that, for us as a company and for them as individuals, so they can see how they can grow their career as well.
Sounds like you've had lots of businesses and you're just going to continue on with entrepreneurship. So what's next for Nectar? Where do you see this going in the future?
We want to make credit for people who own commercial real estate ubiquitous in the market. So we want, just like now, the majority of American households that have good income have credit cards, and we think that should just like the majority of people who earn a good wage have credit cards, just to smooth out expenses relative to income. We think that the majority of property owners who own stabilized properties should have access to capital or credit to smooth out the lumpiness of their capital needs. So we want to be the provider of that. And we want to use technology to be able to provide that immediately and across the board for all property owners, so that, if you have a strong portfolio that's cash flowing, you can get hooked up, and the next day you can get the funding you need in order to continue to grow and build your portfolio.
If there's somebody out there that has a business and they are looking for that extra capital, that gap, if you will, that Nectar provides, how can they find out more information about Nectar and what you do?
Usenectar.com is our website. You can find us on LinkedIn or on social media. Use Nectar, and I'd say, and that reaching out directly to if you're an investor and looking for a low leverage, very low risk, high yield investment product, you can go to usenectar.com or investors@usenectar.com to reach out. Or if you are looking for financing, you can go to underwriting@usenectar.com, shoot us an email, and we can get you a quote turned around next day.
Wow, you're fast. Derrick Barker, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Thanks for joining me today for BizTV's Create, Build, Manage. Episodes of Create, Build, Manage are available on demand on the free BizTV streaming app. Visit watch.biztv.com and get BizTV programming anytime, anywhere. Stay tuned to BizTV for more stories that educate, enlighten, and empower.